Yeah.
All right. This is the 5 on 5 podcast presented by directmusicservice.com and Nuke's Hot Sauce. I'm one of your hosts coming to you live from Portland, Oregon. Phenom down the street from me, Jupiter Williams.
Gotta do the bankhead bounce on him.
You got to do a little bounce on him. A little bounce. Our special guest today coming to you live all the way from sunny, tropical Los Angeles. Make some noise for Daisy O'Dell.
Boom, 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 boom. Yes.
Daisy, we are so excited to have you on the show. How are you?
I'm good.
What's going on in your world?
Okay. Gosh, I don't even know this. I feel like we've all collectively been on this journey over the past 2 years. And I always have a really hard time answering the question, like, how are you? Because I feel like there's a myriad of things that pop into my head and all of them are, multiple truths. Like, I'm fucking terrible. I'm scared. I'm amazing. And they're all just sort of like, like compound into this sense of disarray.
Yeah.
But I mean, today I feel okay. I'm excited to be talking to you. I have some things I'm looking forward to. Like I'm going to see Bjork tonight, and I'm going to go to Aruba tomorrow. So those are like very exciting, fun things. So that I'm trying to sort of disassociate from all the trauma in the world and just focus on some good stuff this week.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We love that. If there was like two things I would want to do right now, if you're like, oh, go to a concert and see Bjork and go to Aruba, like bang bang, yeah, that's great. That's great. I would happily take that. Daisy, first time seeing Bjork or multiple times?
Oh, I've seen her many times.
Okay.
Like many, many, many times. I've seen her at the Coachella. I saw her. One of my favorite shows was FYF. They did. She's one of the headliners. That was incredible. I've seen her in more intimate venues. I'm a big fan. Like I've been a fan. I remember in high school, I went to performance arts high school as a music theater major. And for my senior recital, I sang Bjork, but then also on the, you make like the little program. And on the program, I had like Bjork lyrics and Tom Waits lyrics, Nick Cave. I was always that girl. Like even at like 16, that was me. So I've been a huge Bjork fan for a long time.
You were that person that people were going to get their music, weren't you? Where people are like, you're like, oh, you don't have this, but it's blah, blah, blah.
I feel like I always gravitated towards, a similar type of person. Like my entire, I don't know when it started, but it sort of gestated very young because music was always a huge thing for me. And so through, my dad had, vinyl and he collected primarily classical, but then I got into records, and I know people at record shops. When you meet people at record shops, they, tend to open your eyes to this whole like wealth of music and sonic history. And, my favorite podcast is the ongoing history of new music, which is, I love that expression. It's like my favorite expression. It's like the ongoing history of new music. It's this constantly evolving thing. And so pretty young, I fell into that world. And I feel like it's interesting because people who purport themselves as being authorities in the subject, right? Mm-hmm. Like we're all learning all the time, and you're constantly being introduced to new, artists and even genres and, things that there's sort of all these micro genres that pop up, especially if you look at the, world as sort of globally, and you think about music, you think about the music you're exposed to because of, you're proximate to it, but then also like there's all these other things that you're like I'm excited to hear what they're listening to in Aruba. I have no idea. Like I'll probably discover something new and exciting and fun there. So it's like this constant, evolution of knowledge but for me, it started very young. Like I was very young and I was like, this is cool. And then I started going to concerts like, at 12 or 13 and just,
We usually ask later on, but what was your first concert?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't know. Oh gosh.
I'll tell you mine. It was Christina Aguilera.
No, I don't know. I have to think about it. My first concert, like I remember seeing, like in high school, I remember seeing artists like Beck and stuff, and like going to smaller shows and seeing like Green Day. I was kind of into, I was always sort of alternative skewing. I did see the Fugees. But it was like, I feel like my first concert was probably something like New Kids on the Block. Like it probably wasn't. Yeah, I don't feel any shame around that at all, by the way.
No,
yeah.
None.
As you
Absolutely
shouldn't.
none.
You shouldn't.
But I think probably that was the first one.
I mean, that's great.
That's not true. I saw millions of classical concerts with my father. So let's put those in the box because that makes me sound a lot. I was just like, and KOTP. I was a big
yeah.
I had the whole thing, and I did see them a bunch of times. So I'm going to assume that's the first like pop concert.
Yeah,
probably.
That's great. I mean, that's a great.
I loved I'm Canadian.
Corey Hart. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so he was like a big thing for us.
Shout out to Corey Hart. We have so much music.
Heartthrob.
He was a heartthrob.
He was a heartthrob, man.
We have so much music we want to talk to you about today. What we do around here every week, we compare two artists head to head, their top 5 songs most popular on Spotify. So you're gonna pick a this or a that. You're gonna know them. Don't worry. You're gonna know them.
No, it's not that. I'm a terrible candidate for this type of exercise, and I'll tell you why. I hate playing favorites when it comes to music.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
Like, people ask all the time. They're like, "Do you like this genre or do you like that genre?" Oh, I tried to find somewhere private, but I couldn't. I got disrupted. But yeah, they're like, "Do you this song or this song, or what's your favorite artist or what's your favorite?" And I struggle because I don't want anyone to feel like his music is such a hard thing to quantify.
It is.
So we'll see. I might be like, no, I can't.
This is gonna be great.
I'm willing to be open-minded and play the game, and we'll see.
Very good. Well, today we're putting you up against the Rolling Stones or the Who, and this is going to be 5 rounds, 5 songs from each. And you can pick a this or a that for each round. So since Neek's not here, I'm gonna be picking as well as Travis. So you're not alone in your decisions, which is good. Let's start with round 1 though. Daisy, Painted Black from the Stones or Baba O'Reilly from the Who?
Oh no. I can't play this game. I mean, it's so funny because I was at a party, I don't know, a month ago, and I heard Baba O'Reilly out for the first time in a really, forever. Like there's been a whole pandemic, and and just like the sensation of everybody in the room singing along was so profound. But flip side, Painted Black is literally one of my favorite songs to dance to. Like just so it's got that just like this syncopated rhythm, like the whole thing is so funky and good.
Yeah.
Why is it so cool to make people like favorites? I love them both.
I mean, you can't go against one of your favorites, right?
Flipping a coin. My answer would be so arbitrary. Do you want an arbitrary answer? Like it's not going to come from. It's not going to be like an educated thought.
So you can do today how you feel today. How about that?
I think because it's more epic, I'm going to do Baba O'Reilly. Just because I feel like there's, as somebody who studied music, I feel like if you're looking at it simply from sort of the, the sonic elements or the complexity of it as a song itself, probably like a, greater achievement as a work of music than Black. Even though
absolutely.
Sure, that's my answer. Final answer. Done.
Great. Hey. Travis, what do you got?
Painted Black, man.
Painted Black.
I just do that to make her feel bad. But for real, Painted Black.
Painted Black. All right. I'll be the tiebreaker on this one. I'm the same way. I could go either way. And the covers of Painted Black are awesome too. Yeah. There's like a couple of French covers that fucking rip as well. I'm gonna go with the Who though, because initially I was going to be Painted Black, but then Daisy was like, it's pretty fucking epic. And I'm sitting there thinking like, I would like to hear that out. No DJs play that. So DJs that are listening, bring it back. Bring that back.
I'm glad I talked you into it. It's not a dance song. It's like a sing-along song.
Right.
It's like an end of the night, like
just like
you know, everyone's like, but it can have the same sort of like emotional resonance as something like Don't Stop Believing. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in the right room with the right crowd, it can be a real unexpected and powerful moment, which it was for me a few weeks ago when I heard it.
Hell yeah. Let's see how you feel. Let's see how you feel on this one. Stones, Satisfaction, or The Who, Behind Blue Eyes?
Oh, well, I, as somebody with blue eyes, I have, you know, like Pale Blue Eyes by the Velvet Underground is like probably my all-time favorite song. I'm always like, oh, blue eyes. I feel like they're all written for me. Like years ago, Lou Reed, we sat down and was like, I'm gonna
exactly.
But I have to tell you, Satisfaction is one of the greatest songs ever written. Like, it's just perfect. I can't. We just can't. Like, I personally, this one is an easier choice for me.
Sure.
Particularly as it relates to being somebody who makes people dance for a living.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
it still goes off. It still goes off.
And I want to talk about the covers, like the Aretha cover, the Otis cover. Oh my God, the Otis cover of Satisfaction is just, it's as good as the original. It's fantastic. Aretha's too. I mean, they're all, you just play them in succession. Just and then
this is going to be
a few minutes of music. You have 6.
Yes.
This will be that episode where the listeners dive down into covers, and I love that because I love a good cover song. So if you're listening, do your research on that.
You should make a playlist. You should make them, and then they can just go like, here's the.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is true.
That's nice.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we might.
Yeah, we'll make a playlist.
Do that. Yeah.
Travis, where are you going on this?
So I was actually introduced to Satisfaction by my parents with the Aretha cover. And then later on, because it was like one of my mom's favorite songs to play. And then later on, my dad sat me down and he's like, yo, listen, this is where it came from. And I was like, this is even better. So I got to go with Rolling Stones.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm right there with you on that. That's going to be a sweep. I think Limp Bizkit covered Behind Blue Eyes, and that kind of like tarnished it for me, where I was like, oh, you can't unhear it, you know? So, oh, fuck.
It's an amazing song, though. I want to say, for the record, it is a fantastic song and an incredible song, and one of my favorite songs. It just, I feel like this head-to-head was, they were at a disadvantage.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. Round 3. Start Me Up or Pinball Wizard?
Oh,
Daisy,
man.
what do you got? It's a little tougher.
You know what? Pinball Wizard, I think, because it needs to be contextualized within the, you know, the film, or like the larger sort of album.
You need to watch Tommy for sure.
Yeah, like I feel like there's, you know, it's part of a story, but it's not a standalone song in the same way Start Me Up is. So again, I'm going to go Stones, but only because of these extenuating factors, right? Pinball Wizard is a great song, but it's not, it's more that how it sort of fits within Tommy and sort of what they did with that entire rock opera, right? Rock opera is that we call it?
Right.
Where it just, that as an entire body of work is magnificent, but I think, you know, it's greater than the sum of its parts.
Sure. No, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
see, she thought that she was gonna have a hard time with this.
She's killing this. Yeah,
she's absolutely killing this.
Come on.
Opinions.
I'm not killing this. This is great.
About sharing them. I just have a hard time with music because it's, I think I'm sure you guys share this feeling as well. Like, it's such a personal thing for people, particularly people who make their livelihoods, you know, in this industry. Like, we're so drawn, we're so passionate about the music, about these artists, about these songs, and they all have such special significance for us for a myriad of reasons, right? And sometimes it's hard to articulate them, but also I just don't like playing favorites. That's why I don't like professional sports. I don't like that one team loses.
You would like to see a tie. It's a tie regardless.
They work so hard. That's so sad. And everyone's like, yeah, the other team won. I was like, but look, they're like crying.
So what, are you drawn more to soccer then?
No, I mean, sports are not my.
Travis, which way are you going on this one?
I gotta go Stones, man.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. These are just party songs.
Yeah, it's just hard for me to go against the Stones. That's just me, though.
This next one might be interesting. Maybe not. Travis, you're a movie guy as well. Stones, Give Me Shelter, or The Who, My Generation?
Okay, that's a different story. This is a different story. Okay, I'm gonna go My Generation. Yes.
Okay, over the Scorsese nod in Departed with Give Me Shelter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Daisy?
I'm with you. My Generation, I think, again, it is one of the most, not only is it an amazing song, and, from the DJ perspective, once again, a dance floor killer. If you put out, but also it's so sort of indicative of that period of, sort of history when you're talking about the things that, you talk about, sort of that counterculture that really, erupted, right? And the hippies and sort of the birth of this, movement that shifted the entire world. And it was like this global movement, and sort of that song really is the antithesis of that moment. And so I think, when you factor in the history, I have to plead relevance. Also, Give Me Shelter, I have sort of negative feelings around because of the Altamont concert, and and I will always affiliate it with that sort of did you watch the documentary they made about the concert?
I've seen that. Travis, have you seen that?
It's really
the Altamont.
They had it basically. There was a concert up sort of post Woodstock where they were like, the Stones were headlining this. We're going to do this, concert. It's going to be like Woodstock. It's going to be near San Francisco, and they, as opposed to hiring more conventional security, they brought in the Hells Angels. And what ultimately ended up happening was it got violent, and kids died. And so I associate that song with that experience, just again, and it's not lived experience. It's not like I was there.
No, right.
But I that really, after watching the footage, which I probably shouldn't have done because I'm very sensitive to it. You see this kid, and you see the, Hells Angels, and then you see the stretcher, and then you're like, oh my God. And that was the song. So I will always associate those two things. And so for me, I actually don't play that song out.
No, that's definitely fair.
I didn't know about that.
I
need to do my research on that one.
It's actually a really interesting documentary. You should watch it.
I want to watch it.
I'm sure it's streaming right now. I watch a lot of music documentaries, and I'm sure it's streaming right now on, I can't think of where, but it's for sure worth seeing. As a music person and sort of music history. But it was
I'll have to send you.
It was the depth of the hippies.
It was. There was that in the Atlantic Pop Music Festival, which Hendrix played too, which was coming right off that. And I think at that time they were like, we're going to beef up security the right way and completely avoid this entire situation, because it was literally a disaster between that and Woodstock, like people like breaking in. And then the last day of Woodstock was not great from, the kind of what I've understood, where they just like broke down the whole infrastructure. People were getting in, people were fighting because like they didn't have enough water and stuff like that. And then obviously Woodstock 97 or 99, whatever 99. That was atrocious. Another music documentary that was the worst of the worst for festivals. So
it was really disturbing to see the Woodstock 99 footage.
It was.
Because it was because it's modern. Like when if you watch something that's from the 60s, you feel very distanced from it, right?
Right.
But if you see something where people kind of look like modern people, and yet they're still acting in these ways. And, I know a lot of it sort of was cultivated by, there were some bad drugs going around, and there's, but then you think about what happened this summer, Astroworld.
Right.
Like it's, it is a very, as somebody, I work in I don't know if you know this, but I do, one of my initiatives, I have a lot of projects that I get into, but one of my initiatives with my company Woman, that was founded by a bunch of female DJs and sort of event producers and people that work in sort of the nightlife festival music space. We came together because we really wanted to, look at how to make our world safer and more equitable. But we kind of skewed into safety. We actually helped Coachella erect their first what the initiative was called Everyone, but it was like their first sort of safe space. And then we did this training where we sort of disseminated information top down through security, through staff, on how to sort of intervene. We talked about harm reduction. We did a lot of work, but we can maybe link to it and people can read about it. But we did that because as people, particularly, women, or, we have a lot of sort of vulnerable people in our circle who came together and said, we want to be able to go to festivals. We want to be able to have fun. We want to be able to live in this moment. And there's all these legitimate risks, and we're afraid. And what can we do to sort of counterbalance that? And, also the people who are assigned to protect you, security, a lot of the issues seed from them, because oftentimes these are sort of, physically imposing male figures who maybe don't have any tact training, and they can escalate very quickly situations that don't need to be escalated, when you're dealing with people who are sort of young and potentially, we use the term harm reduction, but really we're talking about, substance.
Of course.
People who are ingesting substances and maybe don't know how to handle it. And, today we can sort of guide them to a safe, a safe space, and then ultimately to medical intervention if necessary, without sort of having that escalation with a security person who might, actually make the situation, exacerbated. So that's the work that we did, and that's Soteria, and we did, we worked with everyone. But then we watched Astroworld happen, and we were like, it was so distressing because this work is happening. This work is in play. It's happening in the UK. There's a lot of organizations like ours that are taking these measures and saying, we have tools to equip you to make this space safer. Let's use them so people can enjoy, the sense of community and, seeing music in this way, because it's an incredible, I've been to so many festivals. I love it. It's an incredible opportunity to sort of share space with people and to see artists you might not get to see, and sort of have this incredible experience. But, I guess that it's just to understand sort of from the corporate perspective, investing in, these initiatives,
right?
It's an essential. It's not. There's no sort of the, from the capitalist perspective,
they don't see the need to do it.
Well, after Astroworld, I think they do.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Now you can just say, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
Do you think, how far off do you think we are from seeing free drug testing kits at festival events and stuff? Because I know some do it. We
have them. We did the last festival we did, or I should say the first festival post COVID, we did Desert Days. We erected our safe space. We worked very intimately with the Desert Days team. Have you guys been to that festival? It's really fun.
Not yet.
No. It's amazing. The one we did this one, which was early November. November. And the one we did prior, they had Wu-Tang. It's fucking awesome. It's amazing. And they are incredibly proactive in seeing, the kind of stuff that we do, or the kind of stuff that they need to have happen. And, there are some liability risks with drug testing kits, but we have them. And we encourage people to use them, particularly now as sort of, things like fentanyl and other, very dangerous substances
1,000,000,000%.
Distributing to people who shouldn't be consuming them, and the risks are real.
Yeah. That should, to me, that's day one stuff. Every festival should have that.
I agree.
Like safe testing. People are bringing drugs into the event. You're not going to be able to get around that. At least make it a safe space for people that are at your event.
But again, from a corporate perspective, there's a real risk in doing that, because then it'd be, are you condoning drug use? If somebody goes and consumes a substance on your property and you're saying, well, we all know they're doing it, and then are you liable if something happens, which you are. So it's a very tricky situation. And there's some amazing groups that are doing harm reduction work. We don't specialize in that. We specialize in safety. So our, safety training protocols are what we are, pitching around to everyone and saying, you need to do this part of it. But the harm reduction work is incredible. And it really is about making sure that people who are going to imbibe do it safely.
Sure.
And have, people we have these ambassadors who are on the ground and they're looking out for situations and they're being proactive. So if somebody is lying on the grass with their skirt above their head and they're by themselves, you're like, hey, are you okay? Let me assist you if need be. And just sort of being proactive makes a huge impact. I know I did at the Coachella that we did, and obviously the Desert Days. We've done a bunch of festivals. We did the Yola Festival. It's like, and it's incredible to see how just like taking a little bit of initiative can make such a huge difference.
Yeah. We have to link that for sure. And in the post, we definitely want to link to this initiative, because it's something that doesn't get talked about. Just general safety in nightlife. If you go out, you need to be safe. Go ahead, Travis.
I'm sorry. Like going back to the festivals, who's calling the shots on getting you guys involved? Because it's like, so for Astro World, is it Rock Nation getting in touch with you guys to be there? Because like I definitely see a necessity for you to be there. So
that was Live Nation, right? Live Nation.
Well, Live Nation and Rock Nation. Yeah.
So there's a few different conduits, right? So as someone who's worked in this industry a long time, I've actually DJed a bunch of Coachellas. I DJed, the last one. I played the Absolute 10, all 3 days, both weekends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so we have relationships. So that's sort of the most direct route, is calling people who we know and saying, hey, we're doing this thing. Here's a pitch deck. Take it to whoever, walk it into whoever needs to see it. Golden Voice is actually a remarkably small company, right? They had been working on some stuff internally. So when we came on board, we partnered with the team they already had in place and worked together to create this very robust Everyone initiative, which now they're managing in-house. So it's going to exist for sure. And that's incredible. And what it was it's one person who was in a position of power, who saw the need and budgeted for it. And there's a few different avenues for funding. We have grants, we have sponsors, we have, and think about the optics of that. If you're like a company and you're like, we sponsor safe spaces at music festivals. If you're like a headphone company, that's amazing. Like you should do that. Give us money. We'll put your name on it. That's fine.
Yeah.
But we also have to be very cautious about who we align with. Like obviously we can't have alcohol sponsors. We can't, there's different sort of parameters that we have to adhere to.
Right.
But it really is about at this stage, and we did a bunch of press around it too. And when we did the press, people reached out, because part of the reason we did a press push is because we wanted people to recognize that this, not only was this happening, but this is something that they themselves could implement at their own festivals. And like I said before, there's my company that does it, but we just saw a need and did it. This isn't like some, we were just like, what can we do? How can we help? And we engaged some really incredible people to manage it for us. We have Eleuthera Litch, we have Shavana Gaynor, and Eleuthera, she comes from 20 years of street safety. So she did gang intervention work, right? So basically it's, working sort of within that community, self-policing. So people who are coming sort of from the gang world, going back into the gang world to help people. And it's this incredible training mechanism that she came up with this guy, Akil Bashir. And they brought that to the security side. And then Shivani is our clinical director. So she brought all the mental health stuff.
Gotcha.
So all the stuff with people who are, you know, at festivals, who are experiencing different sorts of triggers, or again, the harm reduction stuff, and how can we like support this so people don't escalate into a dangerous place. And also she was the, you know, the mechanism by which we interfaced with the medical team. So we work with security and medical. We're sort of a bridge between like customer service, security.
Yeah.
You know, and making sure that all those things like interact appropriately, because oftentimes they don't. Like oftentimes security will intervene in something that maybe is a medical situation, or customer service will not really know how to handle something that perhaps needs to be a security situation, but then it's, you know, it's a very complex organism. Right? And also it requires very thoughtful people, experienced people, people who, you know, have like the people who manage Soteria have dedicated their lives to thinking about, you know, how to make this work. And they came up with a plan, and it's incredible. And I'm so fortunate to have these people in my life as well, because they guide me all the time in a myriad of ways, because they're incredible, just sort of humans. And all of our ambassadors are incredible humans. They come to this work because they believe in it. And, you know, they really like to see how they sort of interact with people is just, it's profound. It's very, very cool. And we didn't just do Coachella. We did, oh my gosh, why am I supposed to, the country one?
The desert, what is that called?
No, the one that comes right after Coachella. Oh my God.
Let me try to number crunch this.
Let me do a number crunch.
The third weekend, so it's Coachella, and then it's
Stagecoach.
So,
how did I forget about Stagecoach?
You know, people at Stagecoach. One of the most intense experiences I've ever had. So we kept our Everyone initiative, and we were very nervous because we had a very diverse team full of people who identified in all kinds of different ways, who were going to be in this Stagecoach community and had some real hesitation. And we did actually lose some of our ambassadors because they said, I'm nervous. And, you know, and I will tell you, day one of Stagecoach, we showed up to work and it was a sea of Trump hats, right? Not only Trump hats, Blue Lives Matter shirts, you know, people like a lot of things that our particular team on a personal level probably found triggering, and they were able to set that aside and do the work. And I remember one of the most profound experiences I've ever had in my entire life was this guy came in and he brought in a female friend, a woman, and she went and talked to one of our clinicians. She was having a moment. She'd been in Vegas and needed support. This was the first major country western festival since the Vegas shooting.
Right.
And a lot of people came in. Like, we were needed so much in so many ways. And she was there and I was talking to him and he was so kind and so grateful. And then he had no shirt on, you know, festival. He turned around and walked away. We had this incredible conversation. And as he walked away, I saw his back was covered in a tattoo that said white power.
Oh.
And I was like, first of all, I'm a Jewish girl. I'm as progressive as they come. I never would have knowingly gotten into a conversation with somebody with a white power tattoo. This is not a shirt. This is a tattoo. This is a permanent thing. This guy has emblazed on his back. He wants the world to know that he believes the white race is the superior race, right? And it was just such a learning experience for me, because that human connection with somebody who ideologically we were so fundamentally different. And I was like, oh, what a nice guy. Oh.
It's a Larry David moment. It's a literal Larry David moment almost.
It was
holy fuck.
But here's the thing, we did the work and we took, you know, one of the main things you do is you take yourself out of it. You take your personal sort of opinions about things. And this guy was a white power guy, but at the end of the day, he was a human who needed help and we helped him. And we didn't let our bias about his belief system as dangerous and problematic infringe on our ability to like do the job we were hired to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Wow.
Fucking incredible.
God, that's
fucking incredible.
That's great.
Sometimes this podcast takes the best turns into information like this.
Yeah.
Fucking incredible.
I feel like everyone's like turned off by now. They're like,
oh no. Not our listeners.
No,
not our listeners.
So what's wrong with white? I'm like,
let's breeze through the 5th round of this because I have a lot of questions about the history of your DJing and blah blah blah. We're just gonna breeze past it right now.
We're still doing this 5-on-5 thing.
Real quick.
This whole thing.
Sympathy for the devil or who are you? Real quick.
Oh,
sympathy for the devil or who are you?
I have to go with sympathy for the devil.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
That's my pick, Travis.
Because The Magician and the Margarita is such a good book. Do you know that it's based on a book? It's a dope book. And so I feel like for me, again, personal experience informs my answer.
Fair.
I did not know about this book, so I had to write that down. I'm just
Wait, I'm just it wrong. I think it's The Magician and the Margarita. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
If you read the book and I read it after I'd heard the song, absolutely, and then I'm a big reader, in case you can't tell.
Hell yeah! What are you reading right now?
Actually, I pulled out Joan Didion because she died a few weeks ago, and I'm reading a bunch of her work. Awesome. But I'm not really reading it. I'm more just like scrolling Instagram and not really.
That's
recognizing that part of my brain. I'm kind of had a rough January. I needed to like maybe not be so cerebral and think so much.
That's my whole thing throughout all of COVID. It's very difficult to read. Like the numbers you usually put up reading books and stuff like that. I'm like a dog, like somebody's throwing a tennis ball. I'm like, oh, Instagram. Oh, let me check Twitter. Oh, check my email. Oh, what's on TV? Yeah, anything. No, we can get into it.
I do a lot of doom scrolling.
So much.
Like I do a lot of I'm not gonna look at the news today, and then 4 hours later I'm like, oh my god, this.
Yeah.
Twitter is my new thing now.
Yeah, we're big on Twitter. Twitter is.
I never go on Twitter. Am I gonna go on Twitter when you post this podcast?
Yeah, you're gonna have to be on Twitter.
You're going to.
It's Twitter's just DJ talk. It's a lot of DJ shouldn't play this song at this time. DJ shouldn't do this. Yeah. It's
Twitter's a fun time.
That's like really interesting.
Twitter's a fun time.
You're gonna go down this rabbit hole of people being like, DJ shouldn't play requests. You should play all the requests. You should. It's a nightmare. Let's take you into the lightning round real quick. This is a this or a that. You get to keep one of the artists. The other one you have to delete out of your Serato forever. Starting with Red Hot Chili Peppers or MGMT?
Oh, well, I'd probably delete the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I actually don't hate the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I know it's not like a cool thing to like them, but Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic, I think is a really great album.
Yeah,
excellent album.
That album, the rest.
Okay.
But I'd probably keep MGMT because I can't imagine not playing like Electric Feel ever.
Hell yeah.
That would be weird. I would never.
That would be weird.
There's gonna be some Bloghouse talk later on in this episode too, so we can keep that. Okay. Ashanti or Sierra?
Fuck. You know what? I think I would probably keep Ashanti because I play like that sort of, post golden era, like early 2000s pop hip hop stuff a lot, and she's straight fucking fire.
Yeah.
Like her and Busta. Like I feel like maybe I would keep Ashanti, even though Sierra has the better songs. Like Body is maybe a better song, like objectively a better song. Like I don't know. That's a really tough one. I mean, really.
It is a tough one.
It is tough. It is tough. They're not going to get easier they might get easier. Some of them.
They're not going to get easier.
No.
Here's an idea. They're not going to get easier.
We'll go to the next one. Disclosure or Jamie XX?
Well, I think Jamie XX is going to DJ my birthday party in 2 weeks, so I got to.
Oh,
so, mic drop.
But I think he is. But I think Disclosure is maybe they're the bigger artist, right? Yeah. I think like if you're talking about stuff, and I think they are the bigger artists because they write the catchier songs.
That's fair. Yeah. Shout out to Jamie XX DJing your birthday. Just wanted to run that back one time.
It might not happen, and I think he won that. A liar. So I actually just got a text about it, but I don't know what it says. I didn't look at it.
Lauryn Hill or Shaka Khan?
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I love Shaka Khan. Right? Love Shaka Khan, but I gotta go Lauryn Hill. Okay. Lauryn Hill wrote one of the greatest albums of all time. There's nothing she could ever do. Oh. And I've seen her live. I don't know if you've seen her live. I saw her live at like a Levi's party, right?
Yeah.
She showed up 2 hours late.
Sure. Yeah.
But I was fortunate enough to be side stage. And this is recent. This is like, right before COVID. And she showed up and sang, and she was Lauryn Hill. Like she's amazing. Like I know she doesn't really, she's not interested in doing what people want her to do. Right. I kind of respect that. It's kind of frustrating. I was going to go see the Fugees at the Forum, but now I'm not, I guess.
Oh, they just canceled. They just canceled their reunion. That's right. You knew that was going to happen. Come on.
Yeah.
If you were betting on this, everybody kind of knew at some point this would. Yeah.
That was a pipe dream.
That was a pipe dream.
We like pipe dreams.
Daisy, as someone who lived in New York, you'll enjoy this. Beastie Boys or Run DMC?
Okay, so Run DMC are amazing, right? But Beastie Boys, I mean, those albums were so important. Like Paul's Boutique, right? I listened to Paul's Boutique to all the like I've listened to that album so many times. I couldn't not pick the Beastie Boys. Run DMC are fun, party jams, whatever. Beastie Boys are like that too.
Yeah.
But also musically, where they went with the Dust Brothers they were so groundbreaking and really sort of this template for all this music that followed, sort of seeded from what they did when they came to LA during those years. And I gotta go Beastie Boys. I'm a huge Beastie Boys fan. Like I think they're amazing.
There are no wrong answers here. That's great. Fuck yeah. No, that's a great
answer. There's no wrong answer when it comes to music.
Yeah, there's no wrong answer. That's exactly it. Steely Dan or Gangstar?
That's so random. You know what's interesting though? They both kind of check the same boxes.
They do.
I would put them both in easy listening for fucking sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Finally, someone said it.
Somebody gets it.
I would both like mellow, like Sunday afternoon kind of vibes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think I probably listen to Gangstar more, but Steely Dan's actually really cool. I actually played a show with Steely Dan.
Oh.
One of the more random things you'll hear from me. I did this thing called the oh my god, again I can't remember.
Stagecoach Music Festival.
This is it. Oh, what do we call it? The Classic. It was called the Classic. See, I knew it would come. I just did so many shows, guys. I feel like I did this thing called the Classic, and I think Steely Dan was on the bill, but it was like Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles and like Steely Dan and Doobie Brothers. It was like crazy, and it was one of the best. And they hired me to DJ. I DJ'd this kind of like, it was at Dodger Stadium, and I did like this VIP sort of situations, like between bands, people who spent a lot of money or were important people would like come in and I would play. I don't know. Maybe I'll go Gangstar. I'll go Gangstar, but it's a tough one because it's tough. It's interesting.
Can I go off the rails real quick?
Go off the rails.
This is gonna be real quick.
Yeah.
What are you playing at that show?
Yeah.
What?
Everything you want to play is playing in front of you right now. You're
right.
Like, oh, that's me.
Not everything.
Not everything.
You still got Neil Young. You still got stuff you can play.
Okay.
I feel like one of my favorite things to do as a DJ is get tasked with playing really sort of specific curated sets.
Okay.
Right? Like that is like my like when somebody like that's part of the reason I get hired all the time by Netflix and HBO and all these companies, because they know I'll bring a party, right? At some point you switch it up to a party. But also if they hire me to do something, they're like, you know, like I do all the Stranger Things stuff, right? This is like a very easy, any of us, any DJ could do it. But I'm like, okay, what's the year? 1984. What are the charts in 1984? What are the alternative charts? What are the college radio? What is the fashion? What is the politics? What is the I like basically just like go in and swim around. Like this week I actually turned it in today. I did a playlist for Ford's Gin, and it is called The Botanical Express. And it's the golden age of travel, right? Which is 1920s to 1940s, golden age of train travel. But it's also international. So they did Romania and Morocco. And so I went and found all this music from those decades, from all these different places. I found like Italian jazz from like 1930, and I found like Moroccan, like it was just, and it's such a fun thing, and it's such a fun exercise. And now I have all this music, and I'll post a playlist probably because it's so random.
Fuck yeah.
They also have train sounds on Spotify, just, you know, I like put it. But like, I love projects that force me to think about, you know, go outside of just like, what is going to make people dance? What is the Weeknd's latest song? You know, like I love stuff like that. So when I get something like the classic, I'm like, fuck yeah. You know, because then you pull out the Van Morrison, you look at that era, you look at what was playing, you look at the other artists, you look at what was charting, you look at, you know, who did Stevie Nicks collaborate with? You look at, you know, you're playing like Islands in the Stream with Dolly, like you just pulling out all this stuff that you don't typically get to play. I mean, maybe you get to play it, but
at this point, if you're lucky, right? Like if the club is cool, like you can squeeze it in. Yeah.
I mean, we all have these, you know, parameters. The parameters are that you're not at home in your bedroom. The parameters are there are other people in the room. And I was having this conversation yesterday with a friend of mine who called to book me. And he was like, I need to talk to you. There's this DJ who I love so much, but he basically informed me, you know, in no uncertain terms, that he is not going to play for the crowd anymore. He's only going to play for him. And I've been getting all these bad reviews from everyone. I said, well, that's really commendable. I mean, it's amazing to show up. And he's a pretty big DJ. He's playing, you know, 1,000-person club nights. And I'm like, to show up and be like, I don't care about you. I'm going to play for me. But at the end of the day, DJing is a reciprocal thing. It's call and response, right? It's people responding to what you are giving them and in turn feeding you. And it needs to be this back and forth. So you can have integrity and you can say, I won't go out, you know, I won't draw outside these lines. And that I think is important for all of us to have sort of, you know, that's what your identity is as an artist. But at the end of the day, it really is not a solo sport.
Right. 1,000,000%.
Right.
So I don't know. I was like, well, that's kind of cool, but also, yeah, I don't know, like do that when you're home, put out a bunch of weird fucking mixes. Unless you DJ Harvey, who can do literally whatever he wants always.
Yeah. Travis, you just played with him, right?
Yeah. I have, when people ask what DJ I want to be, I'm like DJ Harvey or Questlove. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Those guys can literally show up anywhere and play anything, and people are like,
oh, you said the magic word.
I DJ'd with Tom York one night, and he literally got up and I don't know, he played the most ambient, like whatever, and everyone's just like, brilliant, because he's Tom York, right?
Yeah,
right.
Literally do anything, and everyone's
right.
Like, oh,
yeah,
you gotta be Tom York to do that.
Yeah. It's like, did he play any Radiohead? No, absolutely not. Why would you think that? Like, just so snotty. You did say the magic word of Questlove, so I will bring you this one: the Roots or NERD.
Oh, that's really tough too, because the Roots are such an important act. And I, as somebody who has a soft spot for jazz as well, sort of the jazz fusion thing that they did, I think is really, was really like that sort of movement was really groundbreaking at the time. But NERD has, I don't know, Pharrell, like that's tough.
It's tough.
I'm gonna go Roots.
Okay.
But it's arbitrary, either one.
Oh, you're gonna hate these next couple. Sade or Aaliyah? Oh, and Nick's joining us. Hell yeah. Hello, Neek. Connecting to audio.
We wait.
Hello?
Do you just post this whole thing, or do you guys like edit?
We'll edit it. Yeah. We'll edit a little.
And make it sound smarter.
There he is.
There he is. Driving back.
Hi. How was your gig?
Hey guys. It's great. It was it's eventful.
Oh my god. Nick, you're right in time for the lightning round. I just said Sade or Aaliyah.
Am I allowed to not answer any of these? Is that an option? Because if I were to call it in just once, I would call it in with this one.
Now that Neek is here, Neek, are we allowing that? No.
Hold on.
I feel like
Neek, unmute you real quick. Sorry. There you go.
You're good. Sorry. No, you have to choose one or the other.
Guys are so cruel.
To choose none is to erase them both.
Okay.
Hey, welcome to the podcast, Neek Lopez. Neek Lopez.
I'm going to say that
Neek Lopez, everyone.
Aaliyah wasn't given the opportunity to develop as an artist because her life was cut short.
True.
And I feel like had she had that opportunity, I think she probably would have had some real longevity in her career and done some very interesting things. She was extraordinarily talented and she was so young when she broke, right? And obviously Sade, oh my God, that fucking voice, right? It's magic.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's magic, it's butter. This is a tough one. Am I the only one who has to answer?
Oh yeah.
Oh, just you.
Just you.
You guys do this to each other? Do you like call each other never before and go like, okay, with this question?
So these are all previous episodes. So you'll be able to go back and listen to full deep dives on all of these.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go, and only because she's still alive, and so I can't. I would worry about. I'm so overly sensitive to offending people. I don't want to offend Sade, so let's go with her because Aaliyah is not here to be offended. But I actually think maybe I would go with Aaliyah if it was a DJ. If it was a DJ question,
yeah,
I'd probably like erasing off the Serato as opposed to quantifying their music in any sort of like quality or significance in my personal life. If it's strictly a DJ question, it would be Aaliyah.
Sure.
For sure. Because I'm playing Smooth Operator sometimes, but I'm not playing those
right
like jam sets.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah,
you navigated that perfectly.
You like my non-answer answer?
Yeah, that's the biggest non-answer we may have ever heard on this podcast. So I like that. Couple more in the lightning round, and then we'll get into some of your history. Earth, Wind, and Fire or Chic?
Chic.
Okay.
That was easy for me because of Nile Rodgers.
That's an easy one.
Because for a bunch of reasons, but mainly because of everyone who's collaborated with subsequently and just my feelings around him as an artist.
Oh, cool.
And I also think Chic, are really underrated music.
Have you worked with Niall at all?
I've met Niall a bunch of times. I've danced on stage with him. I don't think that would, qualify as.
No, that qualifies.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That gets cool points any day of the week around
definitely
here.
does.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That counts. Beatles or Beach Boys?
I've also danced on stage with the Stooges and Iggy Pop.
No big deal.
No big deal at all.
No big deal.
Again, proximity to these opportunities. Lost timing.
This is so cool. I just want to do a podcast on awesome acts Daisy's dance on stage.
Yes.
Can we just do that?
Yeah.
Let's just do a deeper dive on that. This is my best friend Iggy Pop.
I'm a terrible dancer too. I mean, not terrible, like I'm very enthusiastic and I love to dance. I'm always be trepidatious around a DJ who doesn't like to dance. I'm always like, you don't like to dance?
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
Like I'm definitely like awkward, and I did a bunch of dance classes when I was younger, like for years, and was always in the back because I was not that graceful. But I loved them. I was like, oh, ballet. Yeah, but I love to dance. I love going to see other DJs. I mean, I think that's part of, you know, the draw for being in the line of work that I'm in, is that the opportunity to just sort of feel music all night is such it's so addictive. It's so fun.
Absolutely. Beatles or Beach Boys?
I mean, okay, so again, Pet Sounds, right?
The best,
Yes.
the best,
Yes.
the fucking best.
You can't have a conversation. I mean, that is one of the most important albums of all time, but I think the Beatles have to be the choice if we're talking, again, from a DJ's perspective. If we're really erasing these artists off my Serato, I do play the Beatles. I love the Beatles. I play the Beatles in all kinds of stuff. I play the Beatles in hip hop sets. I play Come Together in hip hop sets. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't not have the Beatles. I also think they're so universal. And, you know, those songs in terms of longevity, and again, in terms of the significance, we talk about, you know, influences and how important these artists were. That particular artist, in terms of the ongoing history of music, is one of, if not the most important. So we can't erase the Beatles,
Right.
even if we have, you know, even
so
if
you're gonna erase Kokomo.
You know what's funny? I was thinking, I'm going to Aruba tomorrow. I kept thinking, like, that song is in my head. Like, it did not leave my head.
Hell yeah.
It's so bad. It's so fucking bad.
That was my ID stories, because I haven't told anyone I'm going, and I'm gonna post the first video. I'll be like on the beach, and it'll be like aqua water.
Not good vibrations.
Yeah,
no, not good vibrations. No.
Not Surfer Girl.
Nope.
Not Surfer.
Kokomo.
Is the one.
Well, the reason is, Nico, you missed this. I'm going to Aruba tomorrow. Aruba.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm not actually
okay, fair enough.
I'm not, this is not a commentary on the quality of that particular song. It's just, it has the name, it says Aruba, and it's the only song I know that says Aruba.
That's the only song I think that mentions Aruba.
Yeah, I firmly believe that's why that's top 5 for Beach Boys Spotify. That's got to be the only reason. It was last time when we did this. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so fucked up.
That's pretty cringe. Yeah.
Of all
you're like,
Beach
hey,
Boys songs.
Wait till you hear the Beach Boys. You're gonna love them. Check out Kokomo.
California Girls, Surfing USA. Like, is this the top 5, and then Kokomo's up there?
Kokomo.
Let's do a deep dive today. Beach Boys.
It's probably like top 3.
Yeah. Let's see. I looked up Beach Boys and I pulled up Beatles. So there you go.
Okay, Little Saint Nick.
Okay, Little Saint Nick, Surfing USA. Wouldn't it be nice? Kokomo, and God Only Knows.
See, God Only Knows is my favorite song by them. Like, that's probably one of my favorite love songs. I actually did a Valentine's Day mix last year, and I did sort of a throwback mix. Like, I just did there was a lot of like Bee Gees and Otis Redding and, you know, Marvin Gaye. Like, it was like kind of throwbacky, and I like put God Only Knows on it.
It's a banger.
It really is a romantic song.
If you like God Only Knows, check out Kokomo by the Beach Boys. You're gonna love it. Oh my God.
If you like the Beach Boys without Brian Wilson, you're gonna love him without him.
I hate it here. 2 more in the lightning round, and then we will talk some about you and send you on your way. Prince or Michael Jackson?
So this is a very layered answer.
Let's go, because I can only imagine.
Because of the nature of the work that I do, right? We have a sensitivity around certain artists that might be triggering for people.
Right.
And one of those artists is Michael Jackson. So I don't talk about my personal feelings around Michael, right? Who is arguably one of, if not the most important artist of his era, and probably the most single pop star, the most, you know, essential single pop star, again, and this sort of history of music. It's a complicated thing with Michael Jackson because of some of the accusations leveled against him. And again, it gets into a deeper conversation about whether you can extract the artist from the art.
Right.
Which in Michael's case, if you can, but also to make my answer easy, Prince hired me many times to DJ.
Oh, see.
And I have a
I knew this was gonna happen.
I have a personal relationship with him, or had a personal relationship with him. He did a residency at the Roosevelt one summer, and I played basically all of his after parties, and he used to keep me playing for into the wee hours. I've never met anyone with more stamina. And he loved to dance. I mean, will always be somebody very meaningful in my life, both as an artist who I have so much appreciation for just objectively, and also as like a human being. So I will say Prince, with the caveat that there's other things that factor into that choice, and it wouldn't be as easy a choice if it wasn't for the fact that I have to, again, because of the work that I do with Soteria, be cognizant of the fact that there are people, and I know this to be true because I've had it happen to me when I've played MJ out, and people have come up and said, like, I had this horrible experience happening, and you're bringing this, and you never want people at a party to have to songs, man. Those fucking songs are like the greatest songs of all time. Like, Don't Stop Till You Get It. Like, I can't even. Billie Jean.
Right.
As a, in terms of, and I don't want to talk too much about it. I feel like I've already said too much because I'm so cautious about, because there's both sides of it. There are people who are so fucking angry at you. If you're like, I'm not going to play Michael Jackson, they're like, fuck you. You have no idea how much that artist means to this particular community, and how dare you. And then there's other people who are like, how can you support someone who has these heinous accusations? And I feel very conflicted about it. And I have friends, one of my closest friends, one of my DJ, actually my DJ booker, and also, somebody who is a really important person in my life, wrote an article for Variety, an op-ed, where she said, I will never play MJ again. These are all the reasons why he matters to me personally, and why he matters in sort of the larger sense. And I refuse, and I will not. And she asked me if I would endorse her in that choice, and I said I wouldn't. I said I wouldn't swear that I won't play him again, because that's not a promise I could make. But I also am aware of the conversation around him. But Prince, I love Prince.
I have to ask, as someone that has spent so much time around Prince, what does Prince request?
I don't want to make it sound like we're best friends. We're not.
No,
like
sure.
As
someone
but compared to us, where we're
compared
sitting,
to us,
you are best friends with Prince.
He likes female DJs who are actually confident and good DJs, and he's amazing. He's very
Does
cool.
Prince request songs?
Yes.
Such as?
Here's the thing. Keep it clean.
Okay. That's weird.
God bless Prince.
Yeah, well, he became a Jehovah's Witness. So
that's right. That's right.
No sexy stuff. He likes throwbacky. He likes sort of, a lot of the artists, like we're talking about, kind of the Marvin Gaye, the Otis Redding. He loves to dance to like 80s R&B. If we're talking about, DeBarge, stuff like that. It's got to have beat. He loves all music, right? Like, he truly is. If you see him, have you seen him live or ever?
Yes,
I never
have.
Fantasy song.
Yeah.
I don't know, like the show. If you went to, the shows that we had where we were working together, he would get on, he would play, and then he would always do a lot of improvisation. Like, he surrounds himself with, extraordinary musicians who are able to riff and able to play. And he's like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And his personal sort of knowledge base for music, and where he is able to take things in terms of, like sonic exploration. Like, he'll start a song, and then 45 minutes later, the song will end, and he will have gone in like this whole journey, this musical journey with all these different sort of touching on all these different genres and him playing all these instruments and put the guitar down and play. And he really is just a Renaissance human and somebody whose love for music sort of transcends the boundaries that he as an artist had, if that makes sense. So, you know, when you play for him, you play all kinds of different stuff. And if it's got a beat and a rhythm, whatever, he's down. But he'll also, if you don't like it, he'll stop dancing. And then he'll go shit.
Is he dancing to MJ?
He was at the time I was playing MJ, yes.
Yeah. Which song was it?
I mean, there were many nights and many songs.
Does Prince crazy. Like that's you good. To play Prince's music?
It depends.
It depends. Damn. Okay, I'll throw this right under the rug here. Daisy Odell's top 3 Prince songs of all time.
Oh.
Well, I actually did a remix, what I call a version, but my versions are somewhere between a remix and a DJ edit because they don't have the stems.
Sure.
And I realize that's sort of deceptive because people think I'm singing. Like if I say the Daisy Odell version, they're like, oh, are you singing it? But I'm not. It's like it's where I don't have the stems, so I'm basically EQing out all the other music.
Yeah. Sure.
And then building
version in a reggae sense.
Yeah. It's kind of like a, yes, it is a version of it. I was actually, I'm impressed that you got that. But it's kind of, you know, this technique that I used when I started making DJ edits all the time. And I was like, I want to do more than a DJ edit. I want to play like synths on top of, and you know, and then I did. So I did I Would Die For You, which I think is probably my favorite song. I just love it so much.
It's so good.
Like I really just love it so much.
Yes.
And then I feel like, God. I
played it last night at Motown Monday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Snuck it in.
Yeah, snuck it in there.
Yeah.
I'll send you. You can go to my SoundCloud. I have a secret SoundCloud. I had a really good SoundCloud.
I need that link.
And it got deleted. I had like a really good one with like tons of followers and it got taken down for copyright infringement.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so then I started like a secret one, like I didn't tell anyone. I just kind of put some stuff up in there, and then every now and again stuff gets but I don't like promote it or anything.
Right.
It become like a thing that they take down again.
On the low.
Yeah, like it's like my secret SoundCloud.
Everybody's like, go check out my SoundCloud. You're like, don't go check out my SoundCloud. Here it is.
Like, those are people who need it, who need to
right.
One of my versions is getting a lot of play, which is I did Leonard Cohen. Waiting for a Miracle. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think it might be the only Leonard Cohen remix on there or something because it's been getting a lot of streams. But yeah.
I need to hear that.
Two and three though. I need to hear what your 2 and 3 are for Prince, because now I'm curious. Is it the hits that draw you in, or do you like the B-sides, the more obscure Prince, or what?
Listen, I don't know how much time we have. I need
yeah, we're on your schedule.
You're on your schedule.
I need to think because this is really hard for me to answer.
Sure. No,
like,
that's fair.
This is a tough one. This is like when people are like usually I'll have one song that's my favorite. Like people are like, what's your favorite David Bowie song? And I'll usually be like, Heroes. And then they'll go, what's number 2? And I'll go like, no.
No, never that.
I was like, is it Rock and Roll Suicide or is it Modern Love? I don't know.
Right.
And right. With Prince, like I feel like as somebody who I care so deeply about these songs and all of them, and depending on my mood, the answer will shift. So although I Would Die For You, I think sits solidly at number 1 for me. What falls under it, like if we're talking from a DJ's perspective, like obviously When Doves Cry is the biggest fucking hit. That is a dance floor banger. Doesn't matter what genre you're playing, doesn't matter who you're playing in front of, you can play When Doves Cry and people be like, or Kiss, right? Yeah. So there are songs that are just, you can do Raspberry Beret, you could do so those are, but I think almost, sort of because I play them out so much, they're not the ones I would select as my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, you know, there's Purple Rain, which is, again, it's a hit, but oh my God. Right?
Right.
So like,
has DJing ruined some of these songs? Because I feel like for me, like along the lines of like hearing Return of the Mac, it doesn't spark that feeling anymore. The 65,000th time when you're like, oh, it's Return of the Mac, you know, or like stuff like that.
Right.
Short answer, yes. So DJing ruined music for me. Period. No, you know, it's interesting. I listen to NPR in the car a lot. Like I feel like, or, you know, sometimes when I'm home, I don't listen to a lot of music when I'm home. I do. It's not true. I should say I vacillate between wanting to hear everything all the time and needing quiet or podcasts because for me, when music is on, it activates a part of my brain. It's like critical thinking, right? It's like when you're in university and you're reading a text with the expectation that you're supposed to learn something from it. Like every time I hear a song, I'm sort of, what information am I supposed to derive from this? What's the BPM? What's the key? Where would this fit in the set? How would this fit? You know, like
a million percent.
Yeah, it's very hard for me to be a passive listener.
Right.
And I think, you know, I'm married to a filmmaker, and I think the same can be said for him in watching films, is that when you know how the sausage gets made, when you understand, you know, sort of what goes into building a film, you can't watch them in the same way.
Right.
So there's not that sense of sort of escapism. And I find that with music, because it is just so like, I'm just so proactive when I listen to it.
Right.
Right. And I think that's true for a lot of DJs, but also it doesn't mean that I don't love it. And I go through phases. Like I go through phases where I'm DJing a lot and I need to get quiet.
Yeah.
And then, you know, for instance, this month, because of Omicron, I've had, I don't know, 5 or 6 gigs, but it's been super mellow. And I've just been listening to music constantly. Right. Like, I'm like, you know, because I miss it. I need it.
Right.
So yeah, I think this might be true for most of us, right?
Absolutely.
It's just kind of sad.
You can't turn that, once you turn that switch on in your brain as a DJ, you're like, why, even going out to see other DJs, you're like, oh, I didn't like that. Like, it's like a knee-jerk reaction. You're like, wait, this is their art. This is them doing their thing, you know, or you're like, oh, why didn't they mix this song into that? Or how come this song, you know, and it's like, fuck. I can't just sit back now.
It's very hard to be an objective observer with other people ever. I think we all, you know, as humans, like it's instinctual for us to sort of form opinions. But you know, most of the DJs I know started out as people who walked into rooms and said, I know what should be playing right now. Right. Or I feel like I would, you know, sort of curate a sonic landscape in this space in a way. And, you know, that doesn't go away. So if you walk in somewhere and it's a club and someone's playing a set and you're like, you know, how would I play this set?
Right.
And it's not, you know, it's not like a judgment on them necessarily and what they're doing. It's always like, you know, the sense that like, if I had this room, if I had these people. And I think it's very important to sort of, I like to dance, so I'd love to go out and see other DJs. And, you know, for me, like, I find that to be cathartic and also valuable, like, because it's not, oh, you shouldn't always be playing by yourself. You should be hearing other people. You should be seeing what they do. You should be, you know, seeing how people respond. You should be feeling what it's like on the dance floor, right? Because it's a different perspective. And it's a valuable perspective.
It's hard for me to let go and to dance when I go out because the music is hitting me still.
Right.
So I'm still thinking about
Travis, I tweeted this the other day. I said, DJs, who's the last DJ that made you dance? That's the true test of a good DJ. When you can look in the room, you're like, oh, I see 7 DJs here and they're all dancing.
Yeah.
Like that right there. I'm like, this person's got the fucking sauce.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I had to think about it, you know, because we go out, we hear so many DJs, we hear so many of the same songs at times where it's like you're being beaten over the head with the same thing. When anyone takes a left turn now, it's a breath of fresh air.
Right. Well, how about all the times that I have to like emphasize to you, Colin, when I go out, I'm like, I'm just here to be a fan. I just want to be a fan. Yeah, I have to emphasize that in order to like try to shut that off and then want to enjoy the music in it and then dance and let go.
It's tough. Are you guys musicians as well?
Yeah, I have studied music throughout all school and college and whatnot, and piano, saxophone. So yeah.
I only took like a couple years of lessons and didn't really get into music theory, but still make music too and try to hit the right chords to invoke the right feeling. And
music theory is overrated.
Right.
It is overrated, but it helped me so much. Not overrated.
I mean, anything helps, but also some of the most talented musicians I know are instinctual as opposed to conventionally trained.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, I also apply the same sort of mentality that you guys are talking about when I see bands, because I also am a musician. I also have been in a bunch of bands of varying levels of success. And it's always like I want to be up there, but also, you know, like I'm going to go see Bjork tonight. We're going to be like, damn, I wish I was Bjork. But like, of course I wish I was Bjork.
Right. Yeah.
I wish I wrote Hyper Ballad. Like, that'd be cool.
Bjork's just the coolest. I see that. And I'm like,
so
cool. Last question for the lightning round, and then we'll ask you a couple quick questions. And I know we're taking up a bunch of your time, but we will keep it quick. For the lightning round, Outkast or Hall & Oates?
Oh, again, interesting pairing.
Mm-hmm.
I love that pairing.
It's a great pairing, right?
It's a great pairing.
Oh, and
we ask every single week.
It's a tough pairing, and you know what? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that because again, it would change depending on my mood, right?
Sure.
But I might actually go Outkast.
Okay.
Which is strange for me because I think most days I would probably go Hall & Oates. Hall & Oates are amazing, but again, that sort of yacht rock easy listening is not my favorite genre. It's one that I love, and also as a DJ, again, if we're talking about the music, we're taking off my Serato. Like I can't play Maneater.
Right.
I can't go for that. I mean,
right.
I get a lot of fucking play.
Right.
But also, maybe those are the only two Hall & Oates songs that get a lot of play. Outkast. I mean, I like the way you move. I can't like not have that in my DJ category, like in my DJ set.
Fair.
Need that. I need Bombs Over Baghdad.
Banger.
I mean, Hey Ya for the cheesy nights.
Yeah.
We're just gonna throw shit on and make dance.
With Caroline.
I feel like there's Roses. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like from a DJ perspective, I think I got to go Outkast, but from a music perspective, maybe Hall & Oates. I don't know. Again, this is a really tough one, and I'm so curious to hear what other people said and how they.
Oh, it's all across the board.
It's across the board.
Sure.
It's totally across the board.
I was just watching a movie that, God, I can't remember which movie it was, but this guy played. These guys were playing Hall & Oates as a Hall & Oates movie, and that's how he got his big break. Oh, it was it's this show on Apple TV Plus. It's called The After Party with Tiffany Haddish, and Dave Franco is playing Daryl Hall.
Is it good?
Is it a period
funny.
show?
I had no idea.
Funny. It's like a comedy mystery show. Yeah.
Cool. Tiffany Haddish, by the way, is another one who shows up in my DJ sets all the time, and that woman is the most fun. She will dance, she will sing, she'll be like, I love this. She is like everything that she presents out into the world. And we see people present a certain way, and you're like, that's fiction. They're not.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
She's like legit, like she is that woman, and she is so fun. And I hope she shows up at one of your DJ sets one day because she is just
hell yeah.
The best.
Well, Dave Franco, who's in the show with her, has showed up at one of my DJ sets and got carried out by his friends.
Shout out.
That's a good sign.
Sounds fun.
I have a grip of questions here. Daisy, how did the Gwen Stefani tour come about? And did she see you in a club and was like, that is who I want on this tour?
So Harajuku Lovers was very early on in my DJ career. And I'm gonna say too early, too soon, right? It was one of those situations where I got the opportunity before I was ready. And I say that with, through the lens of time.
Yeah,
sure. Because at that moment, I was like, oh yeah, I can go on tour with a huge artist and I'm fine. But I'd been DJing for like 5 minutes. And, and I think a lot of people, start out and are very eager and excited, right, to play. Some people are more thoughtful. Some people spend a lot of time in their bedroom getting good, learning the technique, respecting the artistry, right? And some people are more like I was. And I'm not going to, sort of layer this with judgment, but I'm sure your listeners will, where I collected records. I knew some people. They were like, you can play records at my party. And I was like, cool. And then I was a DJ. And I was given opportunities because of who I was and where I was and who I knew. And collecting records was a hobby of mine. And I hang out with a lot of DJs. And, one day someone was like, you can play your records at my party. And I did. And then very quickly it escalated because I could do music, which I think is the, as far as like being a DJ, when people ask like, how do you get into it? Be obsessed with music. That's number one. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Technical, learn how to mix that music. Number two. Number one, obsessed with music. Because ultimately at the end of the day, that is the thing that when you have a 4-hour set and you are taking people on a journey, being able to take them on that journey sonically is ultimately what is going to sort of distinguish a competent DJ from an incompetent one, ultimately, even if the mixes are rough, which sometimes when we're starting out they are. So my situation was I was given this opportunity before I was ready, and I got to these arena shows, and very quickly, because I've always taken, I've always had sort of enough self-respect to understand that, or I shouldn't say self-respect, I should enough self-awareness to understand that, I was given this chance and I can't take it for granted. And so I spent every second practicing because I was like, I'm here. I took the job, which perhaps I shouldn't have taken, but perhaps they shouldn't have offered. I don't know.
That's me with every job, by the way. You shouldn't have given me this job. Why am I here?
But I also felt, there's a stigma of being a woman, right? And when I was doing this was 2004, 2005, there really weren't that many sort of public facing women. There were some women in techno and some women in house, but like, in sort of the open format space, there just were not that many women. Like I would hear constantly, oh, I've never seen a girl DJ before. Now it's not the case, but when I was starting out, it was. And so I, sort of that inspired me to want to not only get good, but be better. Because I understood that people were looking at me with a critical eye, because there was this expectation that I was just getting these jobs because I was, a model or like whatever, like I was, which is often true even today, that people are hired based on aesthetics. But what I say to anybody who cares is that if you're doing a lingerie brand, you probably don't want like a dude, no offense. Like you probably want a woman wearing the lingerie. Totally. But on a dance floor, nobody gives a shit what the DJ looks like.
Right.
They give a shit about how capable they are of playing. And there are different types of jobs and, different things, are relevant, but I wanted to be good. And so the Harajuku Lovers tour was, I learned in public. Yeah. Like I learned in front of hundreds of thousands of people. And crazy. I was on that tour when Serato came out, or maybe it had just come out, but we got it. And I basically learned, like I jumped from vinyl to Serato and did this sort of very abrupt,
How many dates did you do before you did that?
I mean, I was hired by Samsung, Verizon. So for bigger tours, right, there'll be a sponsor, usually a presenting sponsor, who will bring in DJs to do different things. So sometimes you're playing pre-show, sometimes you're playing meet and greet, sometimes you're outside. I had this, they would erect like a, kind of little stage in my DJ booth outside the venue to like do fan giveaways or things. So I did a few dates, and it was a very humbling experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to sound, I don't want to sound ungrateful, because I'm extremely grateful for the path that I was on. And I believe that there is something that pushes you forward, and sometimes you don't have a lot of control over that. Yeah. And I sort of have, in my entire life, I've always gone, I like the fluidity of the universe sort of dictating to a certain extent. And I've been working ever since. Right?
Yeah.
I don't remember how many dates we did, but we did a bunch of dates, and then I've been
crazy. That's
ripping and roaring since.
That's so dope.
Fucking crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a real trial by fire. Oh, hey, you're learning Serato. You came from vinyl, and we're gonna put you in these stadium
Well, not only
tours.
was I learning Serato, but I was learning Serato without any of the forums or any of the, like, I would call the guy in New Zealand. I'd be like, hey, dude, help me.
Oh, wow.
Excuse me, Serato?
It wasn't
Mr.
like
Serato?
No, it was it was so novel, and it was such a new thing. And it is a very natural progression to go from vinyl to Serato. And but to have that music, to have the database, and to have everything, and obviously this is pre-sync, you're still mixing by ear, but then you have this visual aid. And I mean, I love the visual aid. I know people are very critical of it. But I think that anything you can do to kind of support you and your creativity, and I think the more the more you're sort of investing and learning about effects and learning about different sort of techniques and different, the more sort of creative you can be with music. Right? Like if you can do one song, bring another song, do that, and have 4 decks going at once, like that's fucking amazing. Like why not sort of really explore that? Or you can just play 2 records and on a straight mixer and not have any of those accoutrements. And like I think it's such a personal relationship with how you choose to DJ. And I really am resistant to people who are rigid.
Right. All this gatekeeper, you have to do it this way. You can't.
But I think respecting the art is important.
For sure.
I think understanding the history is important.
True.
I think understanding, like we look at the history of DJing, we're talking about 1972, right? It was a fucking party in the common room of the house, and the sister was there. She was like, I need some money for back to school clothes, and she's like, you come play. And he played 2 records. Like I mean, you look at, like, you can look from the genesis of it, how it started was a super organic thing in the Bronx, where they're just like, we're just gonna do this thing. And then you talk about sort of the queer clubs, and you talk about where that, like, I just think historically so much of it was born out of people just being creative and not being judged, and not saying there are things, someone's alarm going off. And not, and just exploring and experimenting and trying new things. And so I'm a big proponent of encouraging people to do that.
Hell yeah.
I want to ask about that transition from London to New York for you. Musically, you're starting to become a DJ. You're moving to a completely different change again. You're born in Toronto, right? And then have lived all throughout. You started DJing in London or started in New York? So
I feel like it's funny because it's my origin story, so I should have clarity on it, right? I feel like I should be like, well, this is how it all happened, and always give the same answer. But I actually, it was New York. It was New York, LA. I was kind of jumping back and forth. I was bi-coastal. I'm still bi-coastal to a certain extent, but I was, jumping back and forth. And it just happened in the most sort of organic is the word I use, and I'm going to stick with it, way where, in London, I collected records and hung out with a lot of DJs. Like I was very involved in the club scene there, but I was I was a teenager, like you could go out at 16 in London, and I was a door girl, and I became this sort of celebrity door girl. Like there was all this predates the internet.
Yeah, like, the what?
It predates Facebook and MySpace. It was kind of, but yeah. So I became sort of this face of nightlife, and there was like a lot of press. And there'd be all these, famous people like falling on the floor in front of me as they stumbled out of the clubs that I was working at, and sort of became really tight with a lot of DJs. And being a music person, like I said, I was always a music person, right? Like I went to performance arts high school and seeing all those shows when I was younger, and like like I said, my senior recital, I did Bjork, of course. Like it was always a part of my world, but there was this mystique around DJing, right? It was sort of this thing that seemed so important, because as somebody who grew up in clubs, there was always this sense that the power that person wielded in terms of setting the tone for the entire space, and ultimately everyone who inhabited that space, was like a real kind of critical element. And so I revered it, I respected it, I hung out with all the DJs, I watched them work, and I was like, I don't know, I could never. And I collected my records, and when I got to New York, it really was just the most straightforward thing. I was playing my records one night, someone was like, I'm doing a fashion party, play records, my fashion party. And I was like, okay. And then I was a DJ. Like it was instantaneous. Because it didn't, like some people sort of look at it and say, this is a path for me. But I also didn't have those, nobody I knew, there were no women, right?
Right.
There were a couple, like I said, techno and house women, like Ellen Alien, but there were no women, like there were out in the clubs at all. Like it just didn't seem like something that was, an opportunity for someone like me. Like I was like, you can do the door, you can do the host, you can do the bottle service, you can do the whatever. And this was all when I was in university as well. So I was getting my, education. But I was like, that's what I want to do. And then when I saw my chance, I took it.
Yeah.
And it really was and I feel so shitty saying this because I care so much about being good, but it really was a fake it till you make it situation in my case. It really was, oh my God, how does this mixer work? Whatever. And I would talk to a lot of my sort of male friends. I had some who were supportive, but many who, sort of scoffed. They were like, and I think that's still true when, you see a new DJ. And that's why I always, and I get people reach out to me constantly, and I always try and be supportive. Because if you want to do it, you should do it. Why not? It's like, do it. There's room for 100%. All of them. And if you want to learn, there's incredible teachers. There's Shorty, there's, you can go to Beat Junkies. There are places you can go where you can sort of learn the basics and get out there and do it in your bedroom, and then, open for people. Like there is a path forward now that that path didn't exist when I was starting in the same way.
And there's also places that, DJs can get their music, like directmusic.service.com.
slide that little
right
promo in there.
You can use our promo code.
God.
Flash the promo down there
30% off.
There you go.
Get real.
Shameless plug. Let's go.
Daisy, you do music direction as well. Not just DJing. You do literally everything fucking dope. And I wanted to touch on this question just a bit. What 3 movies off the top of your head would you redo the soundtrack for?
Damn, Colin.
Wow, bud.
That's like a question for the whole group, man. I'm kind of mad that you're giving that
from
to her
from
right
the
now.
mountains, from the mountaintops.
I'd like to throw to you. Do you want to answer that? I'm actually not a movie person.
Okay.
So I have, and when I say not a movie person, I mean like I haven't seen. I've seen movies. I've been so busy for so long.
Sure.
That I feel like I'm not qualified to answer that question with any kind of authority, because I don't know. I think it's okay to say I don't know. I don't know.
That's fine. Yeah, nothing's getting deleted on this answer. You're good.
I like to be, you know, imagine that I'm capable of answering almost any question levied at me, but the one you just asked is one that I don't feel qualified to answer.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
I love
that's
that.
Fair. Well, I was seeing all lines
but I
of.
think you want to answer. You have 3 movies to change the soundtrack.
Yeah,
3 movies that I could change the soundtrack.
I wanted to add to like Boogie Nights or something like that, where I was like, oh, cool. If I could get like 40 more songs in the Boogie Nights soundtrack, that would just fit perfectly.
Make it a 4-disc comp.
Yeah, something like that. Or even Licorice Pizza that just came out recently. Like if I could add it onto that.
I need
Licorice Pizza is great.
I need the movie Everybody Wants Some to have a soundtrack. Because I don't think they ever released a soundtrack for that. So Everybody Wants Some is the spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused.
What the hell?
I didn't know that.
Sequel?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
What is a spiritual sequel?
The spiritual sequel means it's a sequel to the movie, but it doesn't have the same characters to it.
Oh.
So it's around the same time, the same year, right? The same area of Texas. But just
if you like the Beach Boys, check out Kokomo. You're gonna love it. It's the spiritual sequel to God Only Knows.
It's Dazed and Confused, but the other school.
Once you see it, you'll understand.
I gotta see it.
Yeah, and it's just all disco throughout the whole movie.
Oh, okay. So but they never released it.
But
they never released a soundtrack for it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wasn't Dazed and Confused late 70s? And I remember Kiss being a part of it, and like
Kiss was on there. Yeah.
Like Love Hurts, right?
Yeah. Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that was a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
And then so the fall
so then check out Everybody Wants Some. Yeah, it's right
like
up there.
79.
79 like disco.
This was
70.
Yeah, 79. 79.
When was that demolition? Was that 80? The disco demolition?
I want to say the
79 or 80.
It feels like that year, but I want to give a number crunch.
Thank you, Nico.
That's gotta be.
I really value people who care about details.
Oh yeah,
getting information accurate.
YouTube will come for our heads.
Yeah, we have our YouTube.
A lot of podcasts, and and people are like, maybe it was this, and I was like,
79.
79. Yeah, that's what I thought. So because I feel like that was Disco Demolition was kind of the height of disco, and then it, there was a very rapid decline.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, so this movie is
July 12th. Yeah.
Yeah, this movie was set in 1979.
But it was.
But it was filmed in 2016.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It was filmed in 2016, but the movie is set in 79.
Yes. Got you.
Yes.
That's cool. I would see that.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
It's worth checking out. I need to. Nick, do you have any choices on movies you would want to add to the soundtrack or make one?
I don't know. I would just take something. I would like it would just be silly. Like I would take something that has like a very like.
What about James Brown
soundtrack?
On Attack of Titans?
Attack on Titan is
with James Brown.
Oh my God, that'd be wild. That's what I was gonna say though. It's something along the lines of taking something that has like an orchestral soundtrack and then putting like pop music instead. So like Star Wars, but like
with Prince.
With like Prince. And like pop music. You know what I'm saying?
That John Williams soundtrack is kind of
it's kind of legendary.
So yeah, I would take something like that that's like perfect and ruin it.
Holy fuck. This is a good time for Nick to ask his award-winning question.
Actually, no, this is a good time for my question, though.
All right, go ahead. You hop in.
Because Daisy, what we're doing is we're building our DJ biopic cinematic universe. Okay, a la the MCU Marvel Cinematic Universe. So in this DJ biopic cinematic universe, who is playing Daisy Odell? And it could be anybody dead or alive in the entertainment realm or animated. Anybody.
Animated even, yeah.
Wait, you mean like pick an actor?
Yeah.
Play me?
Who's playing you?
Uh-huh. Or it could be a cartoon.
I mean, gosh, that was an unexpected question.
Yeah, who's playing you for your life story?
It's funny. You know who I was told? I kept getting told I look like her, and then I was like, nah. And then I looked, and I was like, holy shit, I do.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Yes, I get that. But the other one, which is so fun, I'll take Tiffany's full. I'll take Tiffany. The other one that I was like, that's so weird, is young Kim Cattrall. Like Kim Cattrall in the 70s, with brunette Kim Cattrall. Like if you Google it, it is very similar. It's kind of uncanny. But I would probably pick like Betty Page or something. Like I'd want to be someone cool. Like not just like an actress who looks like me. I'd want like, kind of someone or like Marlene Dietrich. I'd be like, have Marlene Dietrich play me.
I like that. I
want someone interesting, it doesn't, because I feel like physicality is one thing, but I'd rather have like a character.
Kim Cattrall dating the dude from Devo is a whole hold on.
Back in the day.
Is it
Mark Mothersbaugh? Did she date Mark Mothersbaugh?
Who did she date? Let's see. My phone is bugging. Gerald Casale. Yeah.
Casale.
Yeah.
What a vibe.
That's a whole ass look right there.
That's a vibe right there.
Dude, they're kind of sick.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
Fashion is on point.
That's an entire fashion vibe, man.
They're
that.
fire. They got fits. They're getting off fits in these pictures.
Yo, Kim Cattrall and Devo, that would be an amazing song. I would listen to whatever song they came up with easily.
She made the right move not going back to that Sex and the City reboot.
Yo, I'm hearing bad things about that new one. That new
Yikes. Yikes.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
I want to know how they wrote her off. I mean, not that I really understand the story anyway.
Well, I've been watching it, so I can tell you how they wrote her off.
Go ahead, spoil it, please.
They had her move to Europe and then didn't address it again.
Seriously?
Damn, they're like, she moved to Europe. They're like, damn, that sucks. We miss her. And that's it.
We move on.
Yes, we miss her.
They didn't kill her because I think they're hoping she'll come back at some point, but they
left the door open.
She's in Kokomo. Cue the music.
I'm meeting for tomorrow. We're gonna go.
It's so sick.
Two questions and then let's roll out. Neek, go ahead.
Neek.
So we are providing all of our DJ friends with fast food endorsement deals. And what I would love to know is, what is the Daisy Odell meal and where is it? So fast food establishment.
I mean, that's easy. The Daisy Odell meal is a double protein style from In-N-Out with a vanilla milkshake.
Perfect.
Done.
That's how you do it.
Let's go. Super Bowl plans, Daisy. Are you going to be in LA? Actually, are you going to be back?
I am. I actually, it's sad. So AT&T hired me a bunch of times to DJ like cool Super Bowl stuff. I got to go to Miami, right before the pandemic. And there's stuff now that the Rams are in. There's a bunch of stuff happening in LA. So we're in talks for a few different things. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to be doing, but I'm definitely going to be doing stuff. It looks like, not good.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's kind of a weird time with
the panini and all.
I get a lot of holds that get canceled. Because the types of clients that I work with, I work across the board, right? But I do work with a lot of sort of corporate clients who sponsor these big events, or I work with a lot of the streaming services, people that have real concerns about liability, about having an event and having people potentially at risk there. So there's caution, around, but there's going to be a lot going on in LA next week.
Yeah.
A lot of
pretty big. Yeah. The NFL really wanted this and they got it.
No, they got it.
Kroenke needed
like, and then they were like, let's just put the Rams. No, I don't know how it works.
Well, that's basically what Kroenke did.
He bought the team. That'll be even better.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my god.
Question for the whole group: have we watched the Janet doc yet?
Huh?
Not yet.
Oh my. Yep.
I knew it was a thing. I forgot it was a thing, but I knew it was.
Watch it.
It's been out for like 2 days.
It's been out for 2 days.
I will watch it tonight.
I'm going to watch it.
It's very, very good. Very.
What's it on? What's it on?
It's on Lifetime.
Okay.
Which is weird, but it's on Lifetime, and she's behind it, so it's all her. It's good. Okay, it's a good watch.
All right,
you're gonna leave it thinking maybe Janet is the queen of pop.
I mean, I feel like any documentary will do that to you.
Nah, but
I mean, I'm not arguing that point anyway.
Bro, she's been going since 70,
she's had one of of 72. Longest careers in pop music.
She's been going for 70 since 72.
Said that though. 72.
Bro, she's been going since she was a little 5 years old, man.
Dang.
She said that.
What show was she on? She was on
the Jackson Variety show in Vegas.
I knew I saw her somewhere.
See? 5 years old and 72.
I should put, when I do my Aruba picture, I should put Escapade instead of Kokomo.
Oh,
mashup. Can you make a mashup?
Do the mashup,
please. Yeah, do the mashup.
Mashup. We all need.
I don't know what BPM Kokomo is because I've never played it, but I know Escapade is 114. So
yeah,
Escapade and Kokomo. Eskimo.
I know my music.
Is Kokomo like 99? I think Kokomo might be 99 to be honest.
That feels like a good guy. I don't know.
Hold on, I'm going to know.
I'm not out here playing Kokomo.
It's a terrible fucking song. I can't believe it's top 5.
It's horrible. Before we roll out, Daisy, one song for our Spotify playlist. It can be any song in the world. One song from you to add to our playlist.
You know what I'd love to add, so more people hear it, is I always do my top songs of the year because I do.
You see that?
What is that?
116. You could definitely match that up.
Oh,
sick.
Great. Thank God. Oh, thank God. I was on the edge of my seat until you told me.
You could definitely do that.
Oh my God. You know what else is 116? Holiday by Madonna.
That is true.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Like the biggest party mashup DJ moment for vacationing people.
Can't wait.
Is Holiday Road? Is Holiday Road?
You have to go dun 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 dun. You have to start there and then do Kokomo.
That progression into
Kokomo. You know what else is we are going on a summer holiday. If you want to go, we'll swim. Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones right around there.
Oh, see? There you go, Daisy.
We could do a whole girl
It's going to be a 10-minute.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good reference.
That's good.
Those guys that such or guys, one guy, right? Girl talk.
One guy, one dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Such a talented person.
He'd be rich right now off TikTok if he had any of that 100%. On TikTok right now.
Why isn't that shit coming out now? Why isn't it on TikTok? I mean,
because of Sick Kick. Because of Sick Kick.
What's he doing?
Sick Kick has monopolized.
Oh
the game,
yeah, I guess he's the new girl talk.
Yeah.
Guy with the mask.
Yeah.
I hate it. His shit's not even plugged in, right?
It's not plugged in.
Yeah, that guy.
Hey, Colin.
Shout out to Bert Peterson making all the fake videos.
Peterson edits. Yeah.
Colin, Mike Trong has tickets to his concert in Portland.
It's gonna be a great show.
We're not talking about Sick Kick.
Yeah, let's not.
Daisy O'Dell, one song for our Spotify playlist. What is your song?
Oh, so I was gonna say, a lot of the time I tend to gravitate towards older music, but I'm going to give you a new one because I want people to hear Nation of Language across that fine line, because I feel like it's such a good song and it makes me dance and it's kind of out of left field. And that album rocked my world this year.
Hell yeah. Okay, is that it?
I have to look that up. I'm not even on that.
Just add it.
Yeah.
So go to
the
playlist, Colin, and play for.
I'm supporting this band. It's not for everyone. People are gonna be like, man, this song.
This playlist.
It's got to be better than Kokomo. It's got to be better than Kokomo.
I know.
Kokomo also should be on the
I should have added Kokomo. What a wasted opportunity.
We're still gonna put it on. Don't
worry. Listen, Kokomo over Escapade.
While you're at it, can you put Aretha's cover of Satisfaction?
Yes, I can.
Boom. Absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely. Daisy, what do you have coming up? What should people know? Where should they go check you out?
Oh my gosh. Well, Omicron, I had a very busy dance card for January. Like I played my last show in December was Mexico City. It was like the last week before Christmas. I came home, got COVID that weekend. And then everybody got COVID. And then I just watched January. I was like, Golden Globes canceled, Grammys canceled.
Oh yeah.
Canceled. Like it was like all my premiere. I had all these huge premieres with different people. Boom, 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 boom. And so we're still kind of in that stage. But I have a bunch of club gigs coming up, which is really fun in February. Right? Starting, I'm going to Aruba, I'm back the 11th. So I think I'm playing like the 11th, I'm playing Valentine's Day, and I'm playing Thursday and Friday that week. So there's like a bunch of stuff coming up that is going to be super fun. None of which I posted yet. Ooh. But I will. And when I do, if you follow me, probably on IG, Daisy O'Dell, you'll see I will say this caveat, most of the jobs I do are privates at this juncture.
Sure.
Just because that is kind of the nature of the work that is coming in. But I am doing a couple of big clubs. I'm going to do Valhalla, which is a big queer, insane.
That name sounds amazing.
1,000-person dance floor.
That sounds amazing.
Big room, big lights, big
Hell yeah.
sound. And I think I'm doing that either the 25th or 4th. So that's coming up. And then I'm doing another big party called Queen, which again, I haven't shared about, but there's a huge DJ I'm playing with that I'm very excited to play with. So those are two that just off the top of my head are public facing, which means people can come.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So
wait, are you doing Queen in Chicago?
No, it's in LA.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because there's a Derek Carter party in Chicago called Queen as well, Sunday night, which you should absolutely play that too. It's all disco.
And then I am doing a disco party. I'm doing Visions at Clifton's, which is I don't have my calendar, but I think it's the Friday. I think it's Friday, whatever the Friday after the 4th is. It's the 25th.
Excellent.
So there's some stuff coming up, but I'll post about it and people can come or not come.
And you're Daisy O'Dell on all socials, correct?
Yes, I got my name across the board.
Hell
okay,
yeah.
cool. Mixcloud, Secret SoundCloud, you don't have.
Secret
people
SoundCloud,
can't get that.
Well, I am linked. If you go to my Instagram, my website, which is daisyodell.com, I'm linked to all the stuff.
Okay.
So you can go and listen. But now that I know you guys are like a Twitter community, I'll probably check in there and people are like, this girl.
Oh yeah, no.
Join us.
Bothering you on Twitter.
Join us. No, we just.
I have a Twitter. It exists. I started it at one point and I posted something 10 years ago. Like if you guys post something on Twitter, I will like never see it. But maybe I'll be more diligent after this conversation about like.
Here's what I think your intro back to Twitter should be. 140 characters. Hey guys, just wanted to say Beach Boys' greatest song is Kokomo.
And then just leave all over again.
What could go wrong? What could go wrong in the comments?
I know.
We're ending on that note.
Wait, what was the matchup today?
The matchup
Come on,
was...
baby mama. That's not how it goes. Forget it. Bye, guys.
Forget it. We're out of here.